Okay, you've definitely heard the words stocks and shares thrown around all the time, right? On the news, in movies, it can sound super complicated. But what if I told you it all kind of boils down to a story about a pizza shop? Seriously, in the next few minutes, we're going to break down what it really means to own a piece of a company. And trust me, it's way simpler than you think.
So let's just dive right in. What are stocks anyway? It's a word we hear all the time, but what does it actually mean when you own one?
At its core, a stock isn't just some number on a screen or a fancy piece of paper. It's actual real ownership. When you buy a stock, you're buying a tiny, tiny piece of a real business. Its buildings, its brand, its ideas. You literally become a part owner. And the way we measure that ownership is with something called a share. Just think of the whole company as a giant pizza pie. A share? Well, that's just one slice of the pie. So if a company has, say, 10 shares in total, and you own one of them, you own 10% of that entire company.
So, you might be wondering, why on earth would a company sell off pieces of itself? The answer is simple: to raise money. It's a really powerful way for them to get the cash they need for big projects, like building a new factory or launching a new product, without having to take out a massive loan from a bank. To make this all really click, let's step away from Wall Street for a minute and look at a problem that's a little closer to home. We're going to tell a story about an entrepreneur named Sarah.
Sarah is absolutely passionate about pizza. It's her life's dream to open her very own restaurant, and she wants to call it Sarah's Pizzeria. She's got the perfect recipe, she's got the vision, but she's hit a pretty common roadblock. After doing all the math, she figures out she needs exactly $100,000 to get her pizzeria off the ground. The problem is, she only has half of that. She's saved up $50,000, so she's got to find another $50,000 somewhere. And here's her brilliant idea. Instead of trying to get a loan, Sarah decides to sell ownership in her future restaurant. She'll keep half of the company for herself, and she'll offer the other half to investors, people who believe in her dream and want a piece of the action. So here's how she breaks it down. She values her entire business idea at the $100,000 she needs. Then she divides the whole company into 10 equal shares. The math is pretty straightforward from there. Each share, which represents a 10% slice of the business, is priced at $10,000. Okay, so Sarah's got a solid plan, but a plan needs money to get going. And that's where people like Alex come into the picture. Let's flip this around and look at it from the investor's side. Alex absolutely loves pizza, and he hears about what Sarah is trying to do. He's really excited about the idea and thinks her restaurant could be a massive success. So he decides to invest. He buys one share for $10,000. And just like that, with that one transaction, Alex goes from being just a pizza lover to being a part owner. He's officially a shareholder. He now owns 10% of Sarah's Pizzeria, which means he's entitled to 10% of any profits it makes in the future. Sarah finds 4 other people just like Alex, she raises the $50,000 she needs, and boom, her dream is now reality. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Alex's investment isn't just sitting there. The value of his share is now directly tied to the success of the pizzeria, and that can go in 2 very, very different directions. So let's fast forward 5 years into the future. Alex put his $10,000 in right at the beginning. After 5 years of making pizzas, the total value of Sarah's Pizzeria has changed, and that means the value of Alex's share has changed right along with it. Now he has the option to sell his share to someone else. So what happens to his money? Well, let's imagine 2 possible futures. In the first one, the pizzeria is a smash hit. People are lining up around the block. The whole business is now worth $300,000. Alex's 10% share is now worth $30,000. That's a $20,000 profit for him, a huge win. But in the other future, things don't go so well. The business struggles and its value drops down to $80,000. Now Alex's share is only worth $8,000, meaning he's actually lost $2,000. And that, right there, is the fundamental trade-off of owning stocks. The potential for a great reward, but also the reality of risk. And that's exactly why people say investing can be a bit like a roller coaster ride. The value of your investment can shoot up and it can dip down, all based on how the company's doing, what's happening in the world. It can be a thrilling ride, but yeah, it can also be a little bit scary at times. Now, Sarah's Pizzeria is a really simple example, of course, but the exact same principles apply to those giant public companies we all know, like Apple or even Domino's Pizza.
The only difference is that they sell millions and millions of tiny shares on massive stock exchanges, which are really just giant marketplaces where anybody can buy and sell a piece of ownership. Now, watching your stock price go up isn't the only way you can make money. A lot of stable, well-established companies will actually share their profits directly with their owners. This payment is called a dividend. You can kind of think of it as a cash bonus, a little thank you for being an owner that gets paid out to you every few months. So if you're curious about all this, what are the first steps? Well, first, just keep learning. Second, a great place to begin is by looking at companies you already know and use in your own life. And third, and this one is absolutely crucial, don't put all your eggs in one basket. In the investing world, we call this diversification, and it's your best defense against the risk of any one company hitting a rough patch. And that's really all a stock is. It's not some complicated, scary financial thing. It's just a piece of ownership. It's a bet on a company's future, and it comes with both risk and the potential for reward. So that leaves us with one final question to think about. Now that you know what it means to be an owner, if you could own a piece of any company in the world, what would it be?